Chapter 12. Venus. Fairest of stars, last in the train of night, if better thou belong not to the dawn, sure pledge of day that crownest the smiling morn with thy bright circlet. Paradise Lost, Book 5. Look, exclaimed Asterion, pointing through the window. Behold yon beauteous orb that ushers in your terrestrial dawn and evening tide, and which we terrestrians have named Venus, the bright star of love, whose eternal sway of all the races men obey, said I, and which we Martians have named Bahama Kizula, or the sweet kissing one. Quite a kissable name, and exceedingly appropriate to her. The orb was in her third quarter, viewed from our position, and we were within a half million miles of her. She appeared more than 8 times the size of our moon. Her illuminated hemisphere shone with great brilliancy. Through the window's lenses we could plainly see the topography of her oceans and continents, which are arranged entirely different from those of Earth. The former are of a deep blue color, the latter a brilliant green mingled with a coppery hue, this owing to her dense vegetation. The snow caps of her poles shone like polished marble. Her atmosphere is laden with dense clouds of various colors produced by the varying sunlight, and the great inclinations of her axis to the plane of her orbit necessarily produces extreme vicissitudes of her climate. Asterion took several fine photographs with his camera. If we had one of our great Martian telescopes here, we could view her landscape as plainly as if we were on top of one of her mountains, said he. Have you ever paid her a visit? I asked. I have not, he replied. One of my ancestors, a renowned planetary navigator, made 3 trips there and lost his life on the last. His discoveries were important and confirmed our telescopic observations. The journey is highly dangerous in many respects, and no one has had the courage to undertake another. I intend to take one, however, sometime this year. Special precautions are required. Is she inhabited? By the lower orders of vegetation and animal life only. She has passed through her first 2 geological epochs, and is now at the close of her third, preparatory to her last, during which she will be fitted for the abode of man. May we all live to hail that glorious day when the Venusian man shall walk over these primeval plains, monarch of all he surveys, said Altfora. I fear we old Martian graybeards will never have a chance to participate in the festivities of that great event, said the doctor. Nor their descendants either, to the remotest generations yet to come, replied Asterion. Long before humanity ever dawns on yonder planet, her present orders of vegetables and animal life must disappear to make room for higher and nobler forms, fitted for the use of man, and that may not take for many ages to come. What is the present aspect of life? I asked. Its continents and islands are covered with dense forests, jungles, and morass teeming with that rank and luxuriant vegetation which forms the immense coal beds of our older worlds. Its oceans and seas are crowded with countless myriad of infusatory and mollusks which form all the vast calcareous and limestone deposits of our worlds. Its atmosphere is dense, hot, loaded with carbonic acid and watery vapors, while both land and seas are peopled with huge and terrible monsters and reptiles, whose appearance is frightful to behold. Splendid! Exclaimed Altafora, his eyes sparkling with anticipated pleasure. What a magnificent hunting ground! When you take that trip, Frederick and I will go with you. We'll have some rare sport.